Disney cruising and cruising in general has definitely changed over the last few years. From things that are banned on Disney cruise ships, including mini chargers, to things that you never want to do because they can get you banned from Disney Cruise Line entirely. Don't make these mistakes to cut your vacation short. Now grab your coffee or tea and let's head out to sea. And here's one that's a reverse ban. You are not allowed to take any floral off the cruise ship. So if you are getting the Christmas tree for your Maritime cruise, which we have a Maritime deep dive coming up, so stay tuned. If you are getting the Christmas tree for your Maritime cruise, you can use it while you are on the ship, but you are not allowed to carry it off. There are customs in particular around greenery traveling through ports, so just know you can't take things like that off the ship. Disney Cruise used to allow carry-on liquor. You cannot do that anymore. Actual liquor is no longer allowed to be carried on the ship. And if you carry it on and it is not in its proper containers, they will throw it away. So not only is it banned from being carried on, but you could lose it entirely if you don't have it in its proper containers. If you're buying alcohol in the ports, want to take it home, that's totally fine. You check it when you get on the ship and you get it at customs when you are leaving the ship at the end of your cruise. But people sometimes like to try and be sneaky. You don't want to do that. It's going to cause a lot of issues, first of all, and it is banned. They're going to throw any of that away. People used to get little bottles of liquor and use them for fish extender gifts. That's a gift exchange thing that comes from your cruise group. Whole different conversation. Let us know if you want to talk about it. But if there was an adult only exchange, sometimes people would deliver a cup with a little bottle of liquor in it so you could have a little make your own cocktail in the room. Those are no longer allowed under their current alcohol policy. And if you go to their website where they have their prohibited and restricted items, they state that they do reserve the right to seize and secure any item deemed to be dangerous or pose a security or safety risk. And alcohol is one of those restricted items. Now, the policy is for alcohol that is allowed is 2 bottles of wine or champagne or 6 bottles or cans of beer per person over 21 per port. These must be in your carry-on. They cannot be in checked bags. Wine coolers are not allowed. It has to be actual wine or champagne, Prosecco, or beer. And in addition, the wine and beer that you carry on must be in its original container and still sealed. And if you want to take your own bottle of wine or champagne with you to dinner, there will be a corking fee of $26 per bottle. Now, of course, one popular thing that is asked about in the cruise groups is whether or not you can bring on your Tiny Humans plastic toy swords. These are especially desirable for pirate night, and they are allowed. You may bring store-bought lightsabers, plastic toy pirate swords, or a plastic store-bought toy hammer, otherwise known as Thor's hammer, onto the ships. They must be plastic, and anything else that looks like those, sounds like those, might have the impact that those would have if made of steel are absolutely not allowed. A few other popular ones we have heard of are sporting equipment, and that includes diving equipment. You can bring snorkeling equipment, but you cannot bring any diving equipment on board, including air tanks, and you can't bring liquid oxygen on board either. One other interesting note from this category is the scissors. We used to bring scissors on board with us. You never know when you might need a little quick costume adjustment. However, scissors with blades exceeding 4 inches are not allowed. In addition, they must have blunt ends. There are a lot of electrical items that are not allowed on the ship. A couple of these are important to know. You don't really need a blender or a coffee maker in your stateroom. They will have cocktails and coffee available throughout the ship. However, if you are bringing young ones on board and need a bottle sterilizer or warmer, those are not allowed to be carried on, but they do have a limited number available for requests through guest services. If you need those items, put those requests in right away. They also do not allow extension cords, power strips, and surge protectors, or heating pads. We'll come back to those cords, power strips, and surge protectors in just a minute. I want to go into that in detail. And your drones aren't allowed either. Streaming devices as well are banned. So don't bother bringing the Amazon Fire Stick or the Google Chromecast. You're not going to need it. And not only do you not need it, you can't use it. They have also banned gaming devices. Don't even bother bringing an Xbox or a PS5. It's not gonna work. Any of those ones that need to plug into the TV are not going to work. And absolutely nothing with any wheels on the cruise ship. Those little Heelys where you can skate around, those just don't do well on a cruise ship, and they have been banned. Now, the few electrical appliances that people really do end up wanting to use and that are allowed to be carried on board are hair dryers. They must be 230 volts or 450 watts or less. They do also have a handheld hair dryer in every stateroom on every ship. Curling irons and flat irons are allowed as well. There are small mats that are provided in the staterooms to lay those on while they're cooling. And electric shavers are allowed as well. Irons and steamers are also not allowed. People do ask about these a lot because of course they want their clothes to look great great for formal night. All ships do offer self-service laundry facilities, and they will have irons and ironing boards in there. They also have laundry services on the ship. If we got something on the tie or a shirt at dinner, we would send it out just to be laundered. It would come back fresh as new for a couple of dollars. I highly recommend that. Now here's the big one. The most popular item that I see asked about over and over again in every type of cruise group are extension cords, power strips, surge protectors, and multi-plugs. Those are banned on Disney Cruise Line. What you can take is a multiple port USB wall charger. You can use that for many items these days. We end up needing USB chargers more than actual wall chargers sometimes. They do have ports available as well, and of course if you have a laptop with you, that's another USB charging device available in your stateroom as well. And they do have the North American standard outlets in the cruise ship, and in particular anything with a surge protector is going to be banned, as you are not allowed to smoke on your verandas. If you used to cruise with Disney, there's a chance that you were able to smoke on your verandas. That is not allowed anymore at all. You must smoke in the designated smoking sections. They also have a policy about vape pens. Now this is specifically for nicotine, of course. Anything that may be recreational could also be considered illegal in federal waters. You can enjoy your vape pen in the designated smoking areas. They're not necessarily the busiest of areas, so you can have a really beautiful view. Get a good glass of scotch, go to the smoking area. This could be a great place to enjoy a cigar. They have a lot of different ones in ports, and you can't enjoy those on your veranda either, but you can enjoy them in the designated smoking areas. One other thing that is not allowed is pets. You are not allowed to bring your pets on board. That being said, if it is a service dog, that is allowed. There are special papers you need for your dog to travel, so make sure you check into that with Disney or any country that you're visiting on your cruise before you leave. Now, while we were researching banned items on Disney cruise ships, we did run across a few things that can get you banned from Disney Cruise Line entirely. And I'm going to tell you right now, do not miss your muster drill. That is the safety drill on the first day of the cruise, and they can kick you off for not going. They're not usually going to. They're going to come hunt you down, but don't skip it. Plus, when people skip that safety muster drill, it slows down the whole process for everyone, which is not how you want to start your cruise. One of the huge things that can get you banned entirely is violence. Any dispute, whether it's physical or verbal, can get someone thrown off the ship and banned from Disney Cruise Line for life. They may also even have fines depending on how bad the disturbance is. I don't think anybody goes on vacation planning to have a violent encounter. I think vacationing can be stressful and sometimes people react, but know who you're with, know who you're traveling with. Try to carry your patience with you when you're on a cruise ship. That does help a lot. Giving the crew attitude can get you in trouble as well. It doesn't actually have to be violent. It can be just very unpleasant and combative. Thankfully, I have not seen much of that on Disney Cruise Line. Actually, I haven't seen that on Disney Cruise Line at all in any of our cruises. Not that everybody's perfect, but I think it's because they do treat that so seriously. There is no margin for error, which is much appreciated. That keeps everybody safe. On this next one, I was not surprised to read that jumping off the ship will get you immediately banned. Hopefully, nobody is jumping off the ship. That's just a horrible thought. I like to think of everybody being safe. However, there are a couple of precursors to that can get people banned as well. Hanging onto the rail or dangling on the outside of the rails can get someone in big trouble and maybe even banned. Those areas are just nothing to play with. Of course, hanging on the rail, dangling on the rail, that's not anything you want to play around with. That's a severe safety issue, and hopefully people are refraining from that. And if you haven't seen it yet, our last video was ranking every Disney Cruise Line ship. Go check that out, see which one's best for your family.